Greetings, this is Kevin Jefferson with this week's trade theory for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. Juneteenth. I wish you all a commemorative and memorable Juneteenth holiday to recognize another part of our nation's history, which is also a part of our nation's future. So I hope that you're having a mindful and memorable Juneteenth holiday today. This is the Bitcoin chart. This is the old pullback point that I had on a few weeks back. You can see that price has really rallied and hung around that area. It pulled back here, gave us a buy entry, and then it came back again to give us another opportunity to buy in to the markets, or actually this is over the last several weeks. But now price is starting to decelerate, and I put a bearish area of interest down here at about the 101 about the 101,588 area. So let me go down to the 4-hour chart to show you what that looks like. Price is starting to decelerate, but it has not officially started to show what I consider true bearish behavior. Now it's slowing down, but price is just taking a breath. And once it gets to that area of interest that I mentioned at the 101 area, then I'd be more interested in seeing if price is going to continue downward. Now, there is a lot of downside opportunity on Bitcoin right now, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to let the first leg of price play out. Watch for how price behaves at that level. If it pulls back and gives us another strong indication of bearish behavior, or if it's going to pull back and prepare to go higher. So at any rate, when price gets down to this 101 443.20-ish area, one thing I believe for sure is that price should go back higher for at least a brief period of time. And so we not necessarily as high as where it was to the 110 area, but just a lead back up to the pullback point that I had marked here, and we can look at that later. But I'm looking for bearish movements over the next several days on Bitcoin, or to see what price does there. But nevertheless, we're just going to observe it and see what happens. It's kind of consolidating around that pullback point that I mentioned some weeks back. All right, moving on to WTI crude. As I mentioned previously, crude was in a technical level 1 long, and I was wondering if it was going to reset and then continue higher, but it just went higher straight away. And I have a possible first reset point here at the 72,628 area, and up here at the 77, I believe 77.20-ish area right here. The 77.06 or something like that. That will be the first major area of resistance, and then we could see a major pullback in price on oil, so downward movement. But maybe over the next week or so, price will continue to rise. But I'm definitely looking for a major sell-off after price reaches this area of resistance up here. So we'll watch to see. Right now, price is just moving higher. There's nothing for you to do. It's not to get in or to get out. We just want to watch price move, see where it stalls out, and then take our next cue from the market. When I go out to the weekly chart on here, it hit the first weekly pullback point that I set back in April, and then it blew through the pullback point I posted in June as well, but it has not hit the full resistance area that I think it could hit. And then I see a lot of downside on there, depending on what happens up here at this resistance area. If it comes through there, closes above, and then has a small pullback, maybe it will continue higher. That is a possibility. But I think the more likely scenario is that if price gets up here, that it will pull back significantly to the downside, and leave some opportunities for some shorting on oil. All right, moving on to gold. We have gold has pulled back. It hit those 2 target points when I had the sufficient entry area about a week or 2 ago. We had an entry on the lower time frames. We had target 1 here, which was hit the 33.87 area. Had target 2 here, which was tapped up at the 34.46 area. And then there's one more upside target that I put at roughly 34.73 that price could get to. It is not bearish yet. It's actually trending very nicely here, and so I could see at least one more move to the high side before even considering any downside activity on gold right now. So I think there's at least another week's worth of upward momentum that we could take from here, and then look to see if gold wants to start to sell off some of its profits. Looking at the US 30, the Dow Jones price has started to pull back. It got up to this area of interest and has not shown strength. It's actually starting to decelerate, and now it's not a sell trade per se, but it's actually setting up for potential move back higher. So I have this potential zero target point here, and if the price gets down to there, then we will consider a pullback off of that and see if price wants to continue lower. But right now, price is just pulling back on the daily. Once we go out to the weekly, we see that price is pulling off of this downtrend, and there's definitely some downside opportunities here, but we don't want to just jump into it too quickly. We want to let price dictate, and it is actually technically bearish on the daily because it has closed lower. But as far as the structural standpoint, it could just be resetting down here at the 41,453 area to continue higher. So we're going to watch price as it gets down to this potential zero target, which is in the 41,359.24 area, and then we'll come back and observe the Dow Jones. All right, NASDAQ is also moving this week. Today it's pulling back, and I have a potential reset point here of 21,354.70, somewhere through, well, maybe even lower, 21,345 to reset, and then look to see if price wants to continue higher or if it's going to start moving towards these downside targets. S&P 500, similar thing. Price is starting to slow down, maybe a brief reset point here, but there's still an upside target on that. And when I go out to the weekly, price is kind of beautifully bottoming out and moving up higher. So definitely looking for the S&P to continue higher, actually not to go lower as I look at it right now. But we'll just watch and observe price and see what we can come up with here. Let me go to the lower time frame before I end this. And yeah, so price is starting to consolidate, and we'll have to watch and observe to see what price wants to do. But I wouldn't be concerned. I wouldn't be surprised if price makes a major move back down to maybe the 58.71.12 area, even deeper than the reset point that I put here. And then at that point, we'll assess if price is going to continue higher or if it's going to close lower back below the 57.97 area. So nothing to see right now. Just going to watch price pull back and see what it does. We're at the end of the week now, so we'll just observe and see what opportunities we can take coming into the following days. All right. Until then, until next time, hope you have a wonderful day and happy trading.